Listen carefully. If someone avoids eye contact when they talk to you, stops sharing their little wins, and subtly celebrates your failures, it's not just jealousy, it's hate masked as silence. And the worst part? We often call it mood swings or bad days. No, darling, that's pure emotional warfare. We often think hate comes with shouting, insults, or chaos. But the most dangerous hate is dressed in silence, politeness, and fake smiles. It's when their hugs feel cold. It's when they clap for you, but their eyes don't sparkle. It's when they ask how you are, but they never wait for the answer. Hate is subtle. It's hidden in actions you excuse every single day. So today, I want to pull the curtain back and tell you exactly what to look for. Because if someone in your life is doing these 6 things, they don't just dislike you, they hate you deeply. And darling, you deserve to know. They mock your vulnerabilities disguised as jokes, and most people laugh along just to avoid seeming too sensitive. But let's get one thing straight. Mockery is never love. It's a slow poison poured into your spirit while they call it fun. Every time you confide in someone about your fears, your insecurities, your past wounds, you are handing them the most fragile parts of yourself. And when they choose to take that sacred trust and turn it into a punch, that's not humor, that's cruelty dressed in comedy. Imagine this. You're in a group of friends, and you've once told someone in private that you used to struggle with your body image. Maybe you were teased as a child. One day, while everyone is laughing, someone throws in a light-hearted jab. Oh yes, she wouldn't dare wear that. She's too shy for anything body-hugging. Everyone laughs. You smile weakly, but inside something twists. That wasn't a joke. That was an old wound being reopened in front of an audience. Or think about the workplace. You mention in passing to a colleague that you get nervous during presentations. And now, every time your name comes up for a new project, that colleague makes a sly remark. Uh-oh, hope she doesn't pass out this time. Everyone chuckles. But you don't. You don't have compassion. You don't have compassion. You don't have... Take a deep breath. You don't have... Everyone starts to go around you in a way you feel, because what they're doing is labeling you, ridiculing you, and turning your honest vulnerability into their running gag. That's not teasing. That's hate, without the courage to say it directly. Even in relationships, it happens. You told your partner once that you're insecure about being abandoned. You trusted them. And now, whenever you bring up something serious, they say, oh, here we go again. The drama queen's scared I'll leave her. They say it with a grin, they act like it's funny, but your heart breaks quietly because that was your fear, your deepest truth, and they turned it into a performance for laughs. Let me tell you something bold. Anyone who weaponizes your softness is afraid of their own emptiness. They can't handle the weight of truth, so they turn it into something lighter, a joke, a jab, a nudge. But real strength, it doesn't mock. It protects. It doesn't laugh at your pain. It listens, holds space, and reminds you you're safe. Here's the truth you need to tattoo on your soul. You do not have to shrink yourself just to be accepted in rooms where cruelty is dressed as comedy. If they laugh at your insecurities, they were never worthy of hearing them in the first place. You don't have to clap when they joke about your broken pieces. You don't have to learn to take it. No, you have to learn to walk away from people who think your trauma is material for their entertainment. You know what's truly powerful? A woman who looks someone dead in the eye and says, "That wasn't funny, that was disrespectful." A woman who refuses to stay silent when her pain is used for popularity points. A woman who doesn't care if she makes the room uncomfortable, because the room should feel uncomfortable when it allows mockery to thrive. Remember this. People who joke about your pain often feel powerless in their own lives. Your courage, your transparency, your emotional depth. It threatens them. So instead of honoring it, they try to make it smaller. But what they don't realize is, every time they try to laugh at your cracks, they're revealing their own. So next time someone wraps your vulnerability in sarcasm and throws it into the room like confetti, pause, look at them, see them for who they really are. Not funny, not clever, just about their own stuck life when you're hurting. When your love life breaks, their ego feels whole. That's not friendship, that's spiritual sabotage. Here's what people won't tell you. Not everyone wants to see you win. Some people only love the broken version of you because it makes them feel whole. Some people only clap when you cry, never when you conquer. And those people, they're more dangerous than your loudest haters. Because at least your enemies wear their masks clearly. But these ones, these silent celebrators of your sorrow, they smile in public and rejoice in private. So how do you spot them? Look for the ones who are loudest during your struggles, but vanish during your victories. The ones who offer you tissues when you're down, but never share your wins. The ones who say, "I'm always here for you," but are mysteriously, they're relieved. Relieved that you're not pulling too far ahead. Relieved that the universe clipped your wings just enough to make you manageable again. Or imagine you start a business. You grind day and night. You risk everything. And then one day things go south. You post that your launch didn't go as planned. The people who once watched your stories religiously go radio silent. They don't check in, but guess what? They saw it. They saw it and sipped their coffee just a little slower, savoring your stumble. That silence, that's not ignorance. That's quiet celebration. In relationships, it's worse. You finally get the courage to leave a toxic partner, and instead of support, you hear, "Well, I figured it wouldn't last. You always move too fast." They don't comfort you, they critique you. Because in your chaos, they find peace. They feel better about their own stuck life when you're hurting. When your love life breaks, their ego feels whole. That's not friendship, that's spiritual sabotage. Here's what people won't tell you. Not everyone wants to see you win. Some people only love the broken version of you because it makes them feel whole. Some people only clap when you cry, never when you conquer. And those people, they're more dangerous than your loudest haters. Because at least your enemies wear their masks clearly. But these ones, these silent celebrators of your sorrow, they smile in public and rejoice in private. So how do you spot them? Look for the ones who are loudest during your struggles, but vanish during your victories. The ones who offer you tissues when you're down, but never share your wins. The ones who say, "I'm always here for you," but are mysteriously unavailable when things go right. That's the difference. That's the red flag. That's the alarm bell ringing in silence. And you know what's powerful knowing this and choosing not to let it change your heart? You still shine. You still rise. You still chase the sunrise with bruises on your back and hope in your chest. Because their silent applause at your fall, that's just proof that you were soaring higher than they ever imagined. People don't envy the weak. They envy the brave, the dreamers, the doers, the ones who dared to rise so high that even gravity grew jealous. So let them sit in silence when you stumble. Let them watch quietly from the shadows. Because your comeback won't need their permission. You don't just walk, strut. Remind them that every fall was just choreography for the dance of your destiny. Let them be stunned by your resilience. Let them choke on the silence they once served you. They compete with you, even when you're not competing. You're just living, just breathing, just doing your thing with grace and intention. And somehow, that becomes a challenge to someone who's secretly keeping score. You're not playing a game, but they've built a scoreboard in their head. Every win you celebrate, they see as a loss they've taken. Every compliment you receive, they hear as one they didn't. That's not admiration. That's insecurity in disguise. You buy a new car. Not to flex, not to boast, but because you worked hard and you're proud of yourself. You post one simple photo. The very next week, someone in your circle suddenly buys a similar car. Not because they needed it, not because it was planned, but because your glow made them question their own. And they make sure you see it. Not to inspire you, but to keep up with you. You weren't competing, you were evolving. They're not celebrating, they're comparing. You post about a new fitness milestone, you've been consistent, you've shown up for yourself. You feel strong, radiant, proud. But someone responds with, I've actually been losing weight too. I just don't post about it. Notice the tone? That's not support. That's a subtle way to shift the spotlight back on them, to prove they're right there with you, or ahead. They couldn't let you have that moment, not even for a second. In friendships, it's more toxic. You mention you're traveling solo for the first time, something you always wanted to do. And what do they say? Oh yeah, I did that years ago. You love it, I went to 3 countries in a month. They don't ask about your plans. They don't feel your joy. Because the moment you speak your dreams out loud, they hear a threat. Your growth makes them feel like they're shrinking, even though you've never once tried to outshine them. In love, it's even worse. You share that your relationship is healing, evolving. You're learning how to communicate, how to trust. Instead of happiness, they respond with competition. My partner already does that. We've been solid since day one, as if your progress invalidates theirs. As if love is a race, you're nurturing something real, and they're calculating who's ahead in an imaginary relationship scoreboard. But let me say this loudly. You are not in a race with anyone. You are not behind. You are not ahead. You are on your own timeline, running your own marathon. And you don't owe anyone a pause or an explanation. Their need to compete is not a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of their fear. Fear that you'll keep rising while they stay stuck in their insecurities. The most dangerous competitors are the ones who pretend to cheer while secretly comparing. They don't come to outdo you. They come to mirror you, trying to take your light without ever asking how you built it. But here's the thing. What's built from authenticity cannot be copied. Your energy isn't duplicated. Your magic isn't transferable. Your journey wasn't meant to be followed, it was meant to be respected. So while they're watching you like a rival, keep moving like the queen you are. Because the truth is, you don't have to win against anyone. You just have to keep winning against your past self. Let them compete. Let them chase shadows. You'll keep building empires, healing, glowing, evolving. And soon they'll realize you were never playing their game. You were mastering your own. They share your secrets when you're not around. Not because they slipped, but because they never truly valued what you trusted them with. They weren't overwhelmed by the weight of your truth. They were intoxicated by the power of knowing something about you that others didn't. You didn't just share a story. You handed them a part of your soul. And instead of guarding it, they used it as currency for connection with others. That's not a mistake. That's betrayal dressed as casual conversation. You call them on a hard night, you're crying, vulnerable. You say something you've never told another soul. Maybe about your past, your family, your fears. They listen. They promise this stays between us. And for a moment, you breathe. You feel seen, safe. But days later, you notice eyes looking at you differently. Someone makes a vague comment that sounds too familiar, and your gut drops. They didn't protect you. They exposed you. They're not telling your secrets because they're worried about you. They're telling them because it makes them feel important. It gives them power in a room where they normally feel small. They become the one who knows. And people like that, people addicted to being needed, will always choose attention over loyalty. They don't share your pain to heal it, they share it to hold the spotlight. It happens at work too. You confide in a colleague, maybe about a mistake you made or something personal going on. You trust them because they nod like they understand. But then in a meeting, your words are twisted into a warning. Not for your protection, but for their promotion. They didn't hold your truth. They weaponized it. And all while smiling, ruin you. Let them watch you bloom from the very soil they tried to bury you in. They imitate you to mock, not to admire. And at first it feels subtle, like a joke you can't quite laugh at, a mimicry that seems harmless. But then you realize they're not inspired by your essence, they're irritated by it. You're not their muse, you're their mirror. And every time they reflect you in a twisted way, it's not to praise, it's to provoke. You wear something bold, a color you love, a piece of jewelry that speaks to your energy. The next day they wear something similar. But not to appreciate your style, oh no. They exaggerate it. They mock the way you walk, the way you pose. Look, I'm you now, they say with a smirk. It's not fashion, it's a dig. It's their discomfort wrapped in fake laughter. Because deep down, they don't have the courage to wear what you wear, to be who you are, but they'll mock you for owning your space so confidently. You speak a certain way, articulate, bold, maybe a bit dramatic, but unapologetically you. They start mimicking your tone, your expressions. But instead of it feeling warm, it stings. Their version of you is cartoonish. It's overacted. It's meant to reduce your presence to a punchline. And when you call it out, they laugh louder. Relax, it's just a joke. But we both know it isn't. Jokes are funny. This is fear hiding behind sarcasm. It's their inability to accept your shine, so they turn it into something to snicker at. You share an idea, something creative, raw, honest. You believe in it, but next thing you know, they're mimicking your vision in another room. Not to support it, but to distort it. To prove that what you made isn't special. I did what she did. See, anyone can do it, but here's the truth. Anyone can copy your moves, but no one can copy your soul. They can steal your rhythm, but they'll never dance like you. Because imitation without intention is empty, and they know it. In friendships, it's even more painful. You finally feel confident about something, a new habit, a way of speaking your truth, a boundary you set. Instead of cheering you on, they copy you, just enough to mock. You start meditating, they joke about finding their inner peace. You start saying no more often, they roll their eyes and say, look who's suddenly too important. That's not lightheartedness. That's resentment. That's them not understanding how hard it was for you to grow. So instead of clapping for you, they caricature your climb. But let me make this very clear. They mock what they fear. They imitate because they see your power and it terrifies them. They don't know how to be original, so they wear your essence like a costume, never realizing that your truth can't be mimicked. You didn't become who you are overnight. You built it through struggle, through doubt, through moments when you had no one but your own voice. And that can't be copied. That can't be mocked into non-existence. So next time someone laughs while imitating you, let them try. Because while they're busy performing you, you're busy becoming you. Let them copy the outside. They'll never access the fire that forged your inside. And remember this, no one imitates the average. They only imitate what they secretly wish they could be brave enough to become. So wear your voice louder. Take up even more space. Let the world see what they tried to turn into a joke. Because darling, you are the punchline that hits harder than they ever could. They are generous to everyone but you. They smile wide for strangers. They give freely to crowds. They praise people they barely know. But when it comes to you, their hand freezes. Their words tighten. Their warmth vanishes. It's not by accident. It's not that they forgot. It's that they've chosen to withhold what they offer so freely to others. Because giving to you would feel like losing to you. They give you something that you would give to the crowd. They give you something that you would give to the crowd. Because giving to you would feel like losing to you. It's a conscious choice because it's in your best interest to give giving that you would like to. They don't mind being kind. They just don't want you to benefit from it. You've seen it. In the group chat, they hype everyone's achievement, emojis, exclamations, words of support. But when you share something you're proud of, suddenly it's quiet. A simple nice, or maybe nothing at all. And yet you know, if someone else had done what you did, they would have thrown a celebration. That silence isn't forgetfulness, it's intentional. Because in their mind, your wins threaten their identity. Celebrating you would mean acknowledging how far you've come, and they're not ready for that. You're out with friends, one of them needs a ride, they volunteer, someone's short on money, they pay without hesitation. But when you ask for help, suddenly there's a story, a delay, a reason. It's subtle but real. You feel it in the pit of your stomach. That sting of being treated like an outsider in a room you thought you belonged to. They're generous with time, energy, and affection, just not with you. Because withholding kindness from you is how they try to feel superior. Even in relationships, this shows. They surprise others with flowers, take friends out to dinner, post about how much people mean to them. But with you, everything feels earned, conditional, cold. You give your all, you show up, you love hard, but they never return it with the same intensity. And when you finally speak up, they call you dramatic or ungrateful. I do so much for others and it's never enough. But they miss the point. They're doing everything for others, just not for you. And here's what hits hardest. They act like their lack of generosity toward you is justified. Like you don't deserve the same energy they give the world. But the truth, it's not about your worth. It's about their wound. Your presence reminds them of something they haven't dealt with. Their insecurity, their envy, their fear that you're evolving into someone they can't control. So they use emotional starvation as punishment. They feed the world and leave you hungry, hoping you'll shrink, hoping you'll second guess yourself, hoping you'll beg for what should have been offered freely. But you're not the problem. You're just the mirror. You reflect something they don't want to face. And because they can't dim your light, they deny you the oil. But here's what they forget. You don't run on their generosity. You don't need their applause, their help, or their validation to keep rising. Yes, their coldness hurts, but it also awakens. It makes you realize who truly sees you, who truly values you, and who only sticks around to measure their worth against your struggle. Start noticing who claps when you win. Start paying attention to who shows up when no one's watching. Generosity is not about grand gestures. It's about consistency. It's about who chooses you when no one's watching, who supports you without needing an audience. And if someone only finds their generosity when you're not involved, they're not generous, they're strategic. Let them be sweet to the world, but protect your peace around those who can't stomach your shine enough to be kind to you. You don't need selective kindness. You need soul-deep support. And if they can't offer that, walk away with your power intact. Because the rarest kind of love is the kind that doesn't just celebrate the world. It remembers to honor you first. You've seen their patterns, felt their silence, watched their behavior twist behind smiles and compliments meant for others, but not you. And now you know. When someone's actions whisper more truth than their words ever could, it's not your job to decode the lie. It's your responsibility to rise above it. Because here's the truth that hits like thunder. When someone hates you, they don't always scream it. They show it through their silence, their sabotage, their strange absence when you needed them the most. There's a power that comes when you stop begging for kindness from people who withhold it like it's a currency. There's a fire that awakens in you when you realize your worth is not built on how they treat you, but on how you treat yourself despite them. Their resentment is not a reflection of your flaws, it's a revelation of their fears. People only envy the ones walking paths they secretly wish they had the courage to walk themselves. Don't shrink to make them comfortable, someone once said. And I say, don't apologize for being the storm that makes the fake ones scatter. Your greatness was never meant to be small. Your shine was never designed to be dimmed. for those who refuse to see its brilliance. You are not here to convince someone to love, respect, or support you. You are here to become such a force of purpose that their absence doesn't subtract, it sets you free. Do you remember how many times you held yourself back just to keep peace with people who would never go to war for you? How often you downplayed your light because you were afraid it would expose someone else's shadows? No more. No more dimming. No more shrinking. No more silence in exchange for fake peace. Let them be uncomfortable. Let them feel threatened. Let them walk away. Because if your presence triggers their insecurities, then your growth is doing its job. Wolves don't lose sleep over the opinions of sheep. Queens don't beg for seats at tables they were meant to own. And strong women, the kind who know their worth, they do not cry over closed doors. They build empires beside the windows. You are not here to be understood by those who secretly compete, copy, or criticize you. You're here to evolve beyond their reach. Let their mocking be your motivation. Let their silence teach you who was never real. Let their coldness remind you that your fire is rare. They didn't clap when you rose? Good. Now let them watch in silence while you soar. But your existence is the celebration. You made it through the silence, the shade, the side eyes, and the sabotage. And still, you rise. Not for them, not against them, but beyond them. Because stars don't compete with darkness. They just shine.